The jar was dusty, the kind of dusty that doesn't happen in a few months or even a year, the kind of dusty that settles in over years of being untouched, of being pushed to the back of the shelf, of being forgotten by everyone except the person who put it there. I hadn't noticed it before, not really, not consciously, but my hand had found it anyway, reaching past the jar of tomato sauce I had been searching for, brushing against the glass, feeling the grit of dust under my fingertips, and something made me pull it forward, something made me look, something made me twist off the metal lid and peer inside, and what I saw made my knees buckle, made my breath catch, made the world stop spinning for just a moment. Inside the jar was an ultrasound photo of a baby, not mine, not ever mine, and a photograph of a woman I hadn't seen in 12 years, a woman I had searched for, mourned for, blamed myself for losing, a woman who was supposed to be dead, or disappeared, or living a new life, somewhere far away, but who was, apparently, very much alive and very much connected to my husband. My name is Nora Cassidy, I'm 34 years old, and the jar I found in my pantry on a Tuesday night contained the secret that would destroy my marriage, my friendship, and everything I thought I knew about the man I had loved for a decade, the man who was supposed to be on a business trip in Chicago, the man who had kissed me goodbye that morning, the man who had looked me in the eyes and told me he loved me, the man who had been hiding a photograph of my dead best friend, and an ultrasound of her child, in a dusty jar at the back of our pantry. Before I tell you what I did next, before I tell you about the phone calls, the confrontations, the moment my husband walked through the front door and saw me sitting at the kitchen table with the evidence spread out before me, I need you to do something. Hit like if you've ever discovered something that shattered your trust, subscribe if you believe that the truth always comes out, and drop a comment with your location and local time. I want to know where the survivors are watching from tonight. Let me take you back to the beginning, to the woman I was before I found the jar, to the marriage I thought I had, to the best friend I lost, and to the husband who knew more than he ever told me. I met Daniel Cassidy when I was 22 years old, fresh out of college, working as a receptionist at a dental office, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. He came in for a routine cleaning, smiled at me from across the waiting room, and I felt something I had never felt before, a pull, a spark, a sense that this was not a coincidence, that this was meant to be. "You have a beautiful smile," he said, and I laughed, because it was such a line, such a cliché, but there was something in his eyes, something earnest, something vulnerable, that made me believe he meant it. "Thank you. I've had a lot of practice. Can I take you out sometime? Or is that against the rules?" "It's against the rules, but I'm not very good at following rules." We went out that weekend and the weekend after, and every weekend for the next 3 months. He was kind, attentive, thoughtful, the kind of man who remembered your coffee order, who opened doors, who listened when you talked, who made you feel like you were the only person in the room. I fell in love with him quickly, completely, the way young women fall in love when they haven't yet learned that love is not enough, that trust is not automatic, that the people who smile the brightest are sometimes hiding the darkest secrets. "Where did you grow up, Nora? Tell me everything about yourself." "I grew up in Ohio, small town, nothing special. My parents are both gone now. I have a brother I don't talk to much, and a best friend who's like a sister to me. Her name is Jenna Hartley. She's been my person since we were 6 years old. She's the one who taught me how to ride a bike, how to put on makeup, how to survive a broken heart." "She sounds amazing. What does she do?" "She's a photographer. She travels a lot. She's always been the adventurous one. The one who wasn't afraid to leave, to explore, to take risks. I'm more of a homebody. I like stability. I like routine. I like knowing what's coming next." "And what's coming next for you, Nora?" "I don't know, but I'm hoping you're part of it." I introduced Daniel to Jenna a few weeks later. We met at a diner in Columbus, the same diner where we had spent countless hours as teenagers, drinking milkshakes and dreaming about the future. Jenna was warm, welcoming, curious. She asked Daniel a million questions, teased him mercilessly, and pronounced him acceptable before the check arrived. "I like him, Nora. He's different from the other guys you've dated. He's got substance, he's got depth, he's got that thing, you know, the thing that makes you want to be a better person." "I know, I feel it too. I think he might be the one." "The one? Wow, that's a big statement. You've only known him for a few months." "When you know, right?" "I don't know, I've never been in love. Not really, not the way you're describing, but I want that for you. I want you to be happy. I want you to have the fairy tale." "What about you, Jenna? What's your fairy tale?" "I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. I'm not ready to settle down, not yet. There's too much world to see, too many adventures to have. But I'll get there eventually. I'll find my person, and when I do, I'll bring them to you for approval, just like you brought Daniel to me." We hugged, promised to talk soon, and went our separate ways. I didn't know that would be the last time I saw her. The last time I heard her voice. The last time I felt her arms around me. She disappeared 2 weeks later, vanished without a trace. No phone calls, no texts, no social media posts. Nothing. It was like she had never existed at all. The months after Jenna disappeared were the darkest of my life. I called the police, filed a missing persons report, posted flyers, searched social media, called everyone we knew, but no one had seen her, no one had heard from her. No one knew where she had gone. The police were sympathetic but overworked. They said she was an adult, that she had the right to disappear, that there was no evidence of foul play, that I should wait, that she would probably come back on her own. She wouldn't just leave, not without telling me, not without saying goodbye. We're sisters. She's my person. She wouldn't do that to me. People change, Nora. People make choices we don't understand. You have to accept that she might not want to be found. That's not an option, not for me. I'm not going to stop looking. I'm not going to stop hoping. She's out there somewhere, and I'm going to find her. Daniel was my rock during those months. He held me when I cried, listened when I raged, encouraged me when I wanted to give up. He helped me make flyers, drove me to places where she had been seen, sat with me in the police station while I filed update after update. He was patient, kind, unwavering, and I loved him even more for it. Thank you, Daniel. I don't know what I would do without you. You'll never have to find out, Nora. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for you always. Do you think she's okay? Do you think she's alive? I don't know, but I know that you can't give up hope. You can't stop believing that she's out there, that she's safe, that one day you'll see her again. We got married a year later, a small ceremony, just a few friends, Daniel's parents, my brother who had flown in from Arizona. There was an empty chair where Jenna should have been, and I cried when I saw it, cried when I realized that she wasn't coming, that she would never be part of this moment, that I was moving on without her. I know you're out there, Jenna. I know you can feel this. I know you're happy for me, and I know that one day, somehow, we'll find our way back to each other. Daniel squeezed my hand, kissed my forehead, and promised to spend the rest of his life making me happy, and I believed him because I wanted to believe him, because I needed to believe that someone would stay, that someone would not disappear, that someone would love me enough to never leave. The first few years of our marriage were happy, content, ordinary. We bought a house, adopted a dog, talked about having children. I worked at a marketing firm. He worked as a sales manager. We had dinner together every night, watched movies on the couch, argued about whose turn it was to do the dishes, and fell asleep in each other's arms. It was the life I had always wanted, the life I had dreamed about, and I was grateful for it, even as I still mourned the friend I had lost. But there were signs, small ones, the kind you notice but don't acknowledge, the kind you explain away because acknowledging them would mean admitting that something was wrong, that the foundation of your marriage was not as solid as you thought, that the man you loved might not be who he claimed to be. Why don't you ever talk about your past, Daniel? You know everything about me, but I feel like I don't know anything about you. There's nothing to tell, Nora. I grew up in a small town, went to college, got a job, met you. That's the story. What about your parents, your childhood, your friends? There must be something you want to share. My parents are gone. I didn't have many friends. I was a loner. I spent most of my time studying or working. There's not much to say. I promise you, you're not missing anything. I accepted his answer, because I wanted to accept it, because I didn't want to be the kind of wife who questioned her husband, who didn't trust him, who pushed him away with her insecurities. But something lingered, something that felt like doubt, something that felt like the beginning of a question I wasn't ready to ask. The jar sat on my kitchen table for 3 hours before I could bring myself to touch it again. I stared at it from across the room, from the doorway, from the chair where I had collapsed after pulling out the photographs. The ultrasound photo was face up, the image of a tiny, curled-up baby, the kind of image that should bring joy, should bring hope, should bring the promise of new life, but instead brought only confusion, betrayal, and a growing, gnawing fear that I could not name. I had been married to Daniel for 10 years, had shared his bed, his dreams, his secrets, or so I thought. But now, sitting in my kitchen, holding proof that he had been hiding something monumental, something life-changing, something that involved my dead best friend. I realized that I had never really known him at all, that the man I loved was a stranger, a ghost, a collection of lies wrapped in a charming smile. The photograph of Jenna was old, faded, creased, the kind of photograph that had been folded and unfolded many times, kept close, hidden away. The Jenna in the photograph was laughing, her head thrown back, her eyes bright, her hair blowing across her face. It was a photograph I had taken years ago, on a beach in California, the last vacation we had taken together before she disappeared. I remembered that day, remembered the way the sun had felt on my skin, the way the water had felt on my feet, the way Jenna had looked so alive, so present, so full of hope for the future. "This is the best picture I've ever taken of you," I had said. "You look so happy, so free." "That's because I am happy, Nora. I'm with you, and you make me happy. You make me feel like anything is possible. We're going to be friends forever. You know that, right? Nothing is ever going to change that." I know, forever and ever, no matter what. But something had changed, something had happened, and now, 12 years later, I was holding that same photograph in my hands, wondering how it had ended up in a dusty jar in my pantry, wondering why my husband had it, wondering what else he was hiding. I called my mother first, not because I thought she would have answers, but because I needed to hear a voice, needed to feel connected to someone, needed to remind myself that I was not alone, that there were people in this world who loved me, who would not betray me. "Mom, I found something strange, something I don't understand." "What is it, baby? You sound scared. What's going on?" "I found a jar in the pantry in the back, behind everything, and inside were photographs, Mom. Photographs of Jenna from years ago and an ultrasound of a baby that's not mine." "Jenna, your Jenna, the one who disappeared?" "Yes, Mom, my Jenna, the one I've been searching for, the one you helped me look for, the one who vanished without a trace." "Why would Daniel have photographs of her? Does he know her? Did he know her?" "I don't know, Mom, I don't know. I never thought to ask. I never thought it mattered. She was my friend, not his. They met a few times, but they weren't close, or so I thought." "You need to talk to him, Nora. You need to ask him. You need to get to the bottom of this before you drive yourself crazy with speculation." "He's in Chicago, Mom. He's on a business trip. He won't be back until Friday." "Then you wait until Friday, and you don't do anything rash. You don't accuse him of anything until you have all the facts. You hear me, Nora, you wait." But I couldn't wait, couldn't sit still, couldn't stop myself from searching, from digging, from trying to find out what else my husband had been hiding. I started in his office, a small room at the back of the house that he had always kept locked, claiming it was for work, that he needed privacy, that he didn't want me to see the mess. I found the key in his sock drawer, hidden beneath a pile of folded sweaters. I had never looked there before, had never had reason to, but now I was looking, now I was searching, now I was determined to uncover the truth. The office was neat, organized, the opposite of what he had described. There were filing cabinets, stacks of papers, a laptop that was password protected. I tried our anniversary, his birthday, my birthday, Jenna's birthday. None worked. I tried the date we met, the date we got married, the date she disappeared. Nothing. I tried her name, his name, my name, and then on a whim, I tried the name of the beach where I had taken that photograph, Santa Monica, and the laptop opened. The screen was filled with files, folders, documents, photographs, all labeled with dates, locations, names. I opened one at random, a folder labeled Jenna, and found hundreds of photographs, some I had taken, some I had never seen before, some that were clearly taken without her knowledge. Through windows, across streets, from a distance, my husband had been following her, watching her, documenting her life, long before she disappeared. "Oh my God," I whispered, my hands shaking, my heart pounding. "Oh my God, what did you do, Daniel? What did you do?" I opened another folder, this one labeled Ultrasounds, and found dozens of images, each labeled with a date, a location, a name. The most recent was dated 3 months ago. The name on the file was Jenna Hartley, and the location was a clinic in Portland, Oregon, where my best friend, the one I had thought was dead, had been receiving prenatal care. I called the clinic the next morning, my voice steady, my hands steady, my resolve steady. I identified myself as a family member, asked about Jenna's appointment, and was told that she had missed her last 2 checkups. that they were concerned, that they had been trying to reach her without success. Do you have an address for her? A phone number? Any way to contact her? I'm sorry, ma'am, but I can't share that information without her consent. Privacy laws, you understand. I understand, but you need to understand that I've been looking for her for 12 years, that I thought she was dead, that I just found evidence that my husband has been in contact with her, that she might be in danger. Please, I'm begging you, help me find her. There was a long pause, and then the woman on the other end of the line sighed, defeated, compassionate. I can't give you her address, but I can give you a message. If you leave her contact information, I'll pass it along to her, and if she wants to reach out, she will. Thank you. Thank you. Please tell her that Nora is looking for her, that Nora misses her, that Nora needs to talk to her, please. I'll do what I can, ma'am. I can't promise anything, but I'll do what I can. The days that followed were the longest of my life, waiting, hoping, praying that Jenna would call, that she would explain, that she would tell me what was going on, that she would help me understand why my husband had photographs of her, why she had been receiving prenatal care, why she had disappeared, why she had let me believe she was dead. I didn't sleep, didn't eat, didn't leave the house except to walk the dog. I stared at the jar, at the photographs, at the ultrasound, at the evidence that my marriage was a lie, that my friendship was a lie, that my entire life was a lie. On Thursday night, my phone rang at the number I didn't recognize, a Portland area code. I answered on the first ring, my voice shaking, my heart pounding. Hello? Nora, it's me, it's Jenna. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for everything. Jenna, oh my God, Jenna, is it really you? Are you okay? Where are you? What happened? Why did you disappear? Why didn't you call? Why did you let me think you were dead? I can't explain over the phone, Nora. It's too dangerous, too complicated, too much, but I need to see you. I need to talk to you in person. I need to tell you the truth. Everything before Daniel gets back. Daniel? What does Daniel have to do with this, Jenna? What are you not telling me? Everything, Nora. He's not who you think he is. He's never been who you think he is, and you're in danger. We're both in danger, and I need to see you tonight before it's too late. I drove to Portland that night. 6 hours on the highway. The jar and its contents on the passenger seat. A constant reminder of the secrets that were about to be revealed. I didn't tell anyone where I was going, didn't call my mother, didn't text my husband, didn't post on social media. I just drove into the night, into the unknown, into the truth. Jenna was waiting for me in a small coffee shop, a place she had chosen, a place she said was safe. She looked older, thinner, tired, her hair was shorter, her eyes were sadder, but she was still Jenna, still my Jenna, still the girl who had taught me how to ride a bike, how to put on makeup, how to survive a broken heart. You came. Of course I came, Jenna. I've been looking for you for 12 years. I wasn't going to let a 6-hour drive stop me. I'm sorry, Nora. I'm so sorry for everything, for disappearing, for not calling, for letting you think I was dead. I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. What do you mean you didn't have a choice? Of course you had a choice. You could have called, you could have texted, you could have sent a letter, anything would have been better than nothing. I couldn't, Nora, I couldn't, because if I had, he would have found me, he would have hurt me, he would have hurt you, and I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't let him destroy your life the way he destroyed mine. Who, Jenna? Who are you talking about? Daniel, Nora, your husband, my ex-boyfriend, the man who stalked me, who obsessed over me, who followed me across the country, who threatened to kill me if I ever told anyone about us, who married you to get closer to me. The coffee shop was nearly empty at that hour, just us and the barista who was wiping down the counters, getting ready to close. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting a pale glow on Jenna's face, illuminating the shadows under her eyes, the worry lines around her mouth, the exhaustion that seemed to seep from her bones. She looked like someone who had been running for a very long time and had finally run out of places to hide. You need to start at the beginning, Jenna. You need to tell me everything, no more secrets, no more lies, no more protecting me from the truth. The beginning is before you met him, Nora, before you even knew he existed. I met Daniel when I was 23, a year before you introduced us. He was different then, charming, attentive. The way he was with you, he pursued me, courted me, made me feel like I was the only person in the world, and I fell for it. I fell for him, the way you fell for him. You dated him. You never told me you dated him. I didn't think it mattered. It was brief, a few months, and when I ended it, he didn't take it well. He didn't take it well at all. He called me constantly, showed up at my apartment, followed me to work, left notes on my car, flowers on my doorstep, gifts at my door. It was obsessive, frightening, and I didn't know how to make it stop. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you go to the police? I was scared, Nora, scared of what he might do, scared of what he might say, scared that no one would believe me. He was charming, remember, everyone loved him, everyone thought he was wonderful, and I was just the crazy ex-girlfriend who couldn't let go. So you disappeared, you ran away, you let me think you were dead. I didn't have a choice, Nora, I really didn't. I tried to stay, tried to live my life, tried to pretend that he wasn't watching, but he was always watching, and when I found out that he had started dating you, that he had gotten close to you, that he was using you to get to me, I knew I had to leave, I knew I had to disappear, I knew I had to protect you. I sat in the hard plastic chair, staring at my best friend, the woman I had mourned, the woman I had searched for, the woman I had blamed myself for losing, and I felt something I hadn't expected, not anger, not betrayal, but a deep, aching sadness for all the years we had lost, all the moments we would never get back. He told me you didn't want to be found. He told me you had moved to Europe. He told me you had changed your name, started a new life, didn't want to be reminded of the past. He lied, Nora. He's always lied. That's what he does. That's who he is. He tells people what they want to hear, what they need to hear, what will keep them close to him, what will keep them under his control. And the baby, the ultrasound, the baby in the jar, is it his? Is he the father? Jenna looked down at her hands, her fingers twisting together, her knuckles white. She didn't answer for a long time, and when she did, her voice was barely a whisper. Yes, Nora, the baby is his. I was pregnant when I left. I didn't know it at the time. Not until I was already gone. Not until I was already in hiding. I had the baby, a little girl. I named her Lily. She's 11 years old now. And she's the reason I'm still alive. The reason I kept fighting. The reason I couldn't give up. You have a daughter. You have a daughter, and you never told me. You never let me be part of her life. You never let me be her aunt. I couldn't, Nora. I couldn't risk it. If Daniel found out about her, if he found out that he had a child, he would have used her, manipulated her, destroyed her, the way he destroyed us. I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't let him get his hands on her. Where is she now, Jenna? Where is Lily? She's with a friend, someone I trust, someone he doesn't know about. She's safe. She's protected, but she's been asking questions lately, asking about her father, about her family, about why we're always moving, why we don't have pictures on the walls, why we don't have friends, why we don't have a life. I reached across the table, took Jenna's hands in mine, held them tight, the way I had held them when we were children, when we were scared, when we were lost, when we needed each other to survive. You're not alone anymore, Jenna. You're not hiding anymore. I'm here, and I'm not going to let him hurt you. I'm not going to let him hurt Lily. I'm not going to let him control any of us. You don't know what he's capable of, Nora. You don't know the things he's done, the things he's willing to do. He's not just a liar. He's not just a manipulator. He's dangerous. And if he finds out that I'm here, that we're talking, that we're planning something, he will come after us. He will come after you. And he will not stop until he's destroyed everything. Then we stop him first, Jenna. We gather evidence. We go to the police. We get a lawyer. We do whatever it takes to put him away, to keep him away, to protect ourselves and our families. You don't understand, Nora. He has connections, money, power. He's been building his empire for years, manipulating people, blackmailing them, threatening them. He's not just going to let us walk away. He's not just going to let us win. Then we don't walk away, Jenna. We fight. We fight for our lives, for our freedom, for our children, for the future we deserve, and we don't stop until we've won. We talked for hours, planning, strategizing, remembering. Jenna told me about her life on the run, the different names she had used, the different cities she had lived in, the different jobs she had worked. She told me about Lily, about her first steps, her first words, her first day of school. She told me about the fear that had been her constant companion, the fear that had kept her awake at night, the fear that had driven her forward, even when she wanted to give up. I've been carrying this secret for so long, Nora. I've been carrying it alone, and I'm tired. I'm so tired. I don't want to run anymore. I don't want to hide anymore. I want to live. I want Lily to live. I want us to have a real life, a real home, a real future. Then we'll make that happen, Jenna. Together, we'll find a way. We'll find a way to stop him, to expose him, to free ourselves from him, once and for all. What about you, Nora? What about your marriage? What about your life? What about everything you're going to lose? I've already lost it, Jenna. I lost it the moment I opened that jar. I lost it the moment I realized that my husband was a stranger, that my marriage was a lie, that everything I thought I had was built on a foundation of secrets and betrayal. There's nothing left to lose, except my freedom, and I'm not going to let him take that from me too. Daniel was supposed to come home on Friday, but I knew he would be back sooner. He always came back sooner. He didn't trust me, didn't trust anyone. He needed to keep an eye on me, to make sure I wasn't discovering his secrets, to make sure I wasn't talking to people I shouldn't be talking to. I texted Jenna from the road, told her to stay hidden, to stay safe, to not contact me unless it was an emergency. I needed time to think, to plan, to prepare, to decide what I was going to do when my husband walked through the front door and saw that I knew the truth. Be careful, Nora. He's not going to take this well. He's not going to let you go without a fight, and he's not going to play fair. I know, Jenna, I know, but neither am I, not anymore. I've been playing fair my whole life, and look where it's gotten me. It's time to play dirty, it's time to fight back, it's time to win. I drove home in the dark, the headlights cutting through the night, the jar still on the passenger seat, the photographs still inside, the evidence of my husband's betrayal, my best friend's survival, and the beginning of a war that would change everything. When I pulled into the driveway, I saw that the lights were on in the living room. Daniel's car was in the garage, he was home early, he was waiting for me, and he knew, somehow, he knew that I had found the jar, that I had talked to Jenna, that I knew the truth. Hello, Nora, I've been waiting for you. We need to talk. Yes, Daniel, we do. We need to talk about Jenna, about the baby, about the lies, about everything. His face was calm, controlled, the face of a man who had been expecting this moment, who had prepared for it, who had a plan for it. Come inside, Nora. Let's not do this in the driveway. Let's not give the neighbors a show. I followed him into the house, the jar in my hands, the photographs in my heart, and I knew, as I crossed the threshold, that nothing would ever be the same again. The living room felt different now, smaller, darker, more threatening. The walls that had once held photographs of our wedding, our vacations, our life together, now felt like they were closing in on me, like the house itself was complicit in his lies, like every surface, every shadow, every corner was hiding something I had been too blind to see. Daniel sat in his armchair, the same armchair he had sat in every night for 10 years, reading the news, watching television, pretending to be a normal husband living a normal life. He looked the same, sounded the same, but everything about him felt different now, dangerous, unknown. Sit down, Nora. You look tired. You've been driving for hours. You need to rest. I don't need to rest, Daniel. I need answers. I need to know why you married me, why you lied to me, why you stalked my best friend, why you have photographs of her in a jar in our pantry, why you've been hiding a child from me for 11 years. Those are a lot of questions, Nora, and the answers are complicated, more complicated than you can imagine. Then uncomplicate them. Daniel, start talking, start explaining, start telling me the truth for once in your life. He leaned back in his chair, steepled his fingers, and looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. Not anger, not regret, not sorrow, something else, something colder, something that looked like calculation. I knew Jenna before I met you. I met her at a party. She was beautiful, vibrant, alive, and I fell for her, hard, but she didn't feel the same way. She ended things, and I couldn't accept that. I couldn't accept that she didn't want me, that she could just walk away like I didn't matter. So you stalked her, you followed her, you terrorized her until she had to run away. I tried to win her back, Nora. I tried to show her that I loved her, that I would do anything for her, that we were meant to be together, but she wouldn't listen, she wouldn't see, she wouldn't give me a chance. And then you met me, and you saw an opportunity, a way to get close to her, to keep tabs on her, to make sure she didn't forget about you. At first, yes, I'll admit that, at first, you were a means to an end, a way to stay connected to her, to find out where she was, what she was doing, who she was seeing, but then something changed. I started to care about you, to love you, to want to be with you, not because of her, but because of you. Do you expect me to believe that, Daniel? Do you expect me to believe that you married me because you loved me, when you were hiding photographs of her in our pantry, when you were stalking her across the country, when you got her pregnant and never told me? His face tightened, his jaw clenched, his hands gripped the arms of the chair. You don't understand, Nora, you don't understand what it was like, what it is like, to love someone who doesn't love you back, to want someone who doesn't want you, To need someone who doesn't need you. Jenna was my obsession, my addiction, my everything, and I couldn't let her go. I couldn't let her disappear. I couldn't let her forget about me. So you made sure she couldn't forget. You followed her. You watched her. You left her notes. You called her at all hours. You made her afraid to live her life. You made her afraid to be happy. I made sure she knew that I was there, that I was watching, that I would always be watching, that she could never escape me, that she would never be free. And the baby, Daniel. What about the baby, Lily, your daughter? Did you know about her? Did you know that Jenna was pregnant? Did you know that she had your child? I suspected, I hoped, I dreamed, but I didn't know for sure, not until recently, not until I found the birth certificate, the photographs, the evidence that she had been hiding her, protecting her, keeping her from me. She was protecting her from you, Daniel, because she knew what you would do. She knew that you would use her, manipulate her, destroy her, the way you tried to destroy her mother. I would never hurt my daughter, Nora. I would never hurt my own flesh and blood. I love her. I want to know her. I want to be part of her life. You don't get to be part of her life, Daniel. You don't get to be part of any of our lives. Not after everything you've done. Not after all the lies, the manipulation, the fear. I stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the street, the neighbors' houses, the world that had no idea what was happening inside these walls. I thought about Jenna, about Lily, about the years they had spent running, hiding, surviving, and I thought about myself, about the years I had spent loving a man who was incapable of love, about the years I had wasted on a lie. I'm leaving, Daniel. I'm taking the evidence. I'm going to the police, and I'm going to tell them everything about Jenna, about the stalking, about the harassment, about the baby, about the lies. You can't do that, Nora. If you go to the police, I'll lose everything, my job, my reputation, my freedom. I'll go to prison. I'll never see you again. I'll never see my daughter again. That's not my problem, Daniel. That's the consequence of your choices. You chose to stalk Jenna. You chose to lie to me. You chose to hide the truth, and now you have to face the consequences. If I go down, Nora, I'm taking you with me. I'll tell them that you knew, that you helped me, that you weren't on it from the beginning. They'll arrest you too. They'll charge you as an accessory. They'll take away everything you have. You're lying, Daniel. You're lying to protect yourself, the way you've always lied, and no one is going to believe you, not the police, not the lawyers, not the judges, because I have the evidence, I have the photographs, the ultrasound, the files from your computer. I have everything. He stood up, walked toward me, his face dark, his eyes wild, his hands reaching for me. I stepped back, hit the wall, held up the jar like a shield. Don't touch me, Daniel. Don't come any closer. I'm not afraid of you anymore. I'm not going to let you control me, manipulate me, intimidate me. Those days are over. You think you're so strong, Nora. You think you can just walk away, but you can't. You're part of this. You've always been part of this. And you're not going to destroy everything I've built because you suddenly found a conscience. I'm not destroying anything, Daniel. You destroyed it yourself. You destroyed our marriage when you lied to me. You destroyed your relationship with Jenna when you stalked her. You destroyed any chance of knowing your daughter when you chose obsession over love. You did this, not me, you. He stopped, his hands dropping to his sides, his face crumbling, his eyes filling with tears, and for a moment, just a moment, I felt something that might have been pity, but I pushed it away. I couldn't afford to feel sorry for him, couldn't afford to let him manipulate me one last time. Please, Nora, please don't do this. Please give me a chance to make things right, to be better, to be the man you deserve. It's too late for that, Daniel. It's been too late for a long time. I'm done, we're done, and the only thing left to do is face the truth. I walked out of the house, into the night, into the cool air, into the freedom I had been denied for so long. I didn't look back, didn't hesitate, didn't wonder if I was making the right choice. I knew I was. I knew that this was the beginning of something new, something better, something real. The police were waiting for me at the station. I had called them from the road, told them I had information about a missing person, a stalking case, a hidden child. They had listened, taken notes, asked questions, and told me to come in as soon as possible. I sat in the interview room, the jar on the table in front of me, the photographs spread out, the evidence laid bare, and I told them everything, the whole story, from the beginning, from the moment I met Daniel to the moment I found the jar to the conversation we had just had in our living room. You've been very brave, Mrs. Cassidy. This can't be easy for you. It's not easy, but it's necessary. He needs to be stopped. He needs to be held accountable. He needs to face the consequences of his actions. We'll do everything we can to help you, to protect you, to bring him to justice, but you need to understand that this is going to be a long process, a difficult process, and there are no guarantees. I understand, but I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to let him win. Not this time. Not ever again. The days that followed were a blur of police interviews, legal meetings, and sleepless nights. I moved out of the house into a small apartment across town, one that Daniel didn't know about, one that Jenna had helped me find, one that felt safe, anonymous, free. I took only what I needed: clothes, photographs, documents. The jar, always the jar that had started everything, the jar that had ended everything. Daniel was arrested 3 days after I went to the police. They picked him up at the house, in the early morning, before the neighbors were awake, before the sun had risen, before he could destroy any more evidence. I wasn't there, didn't want to be, didn't need to see him handcuffed, led away, defeated. I just needed to know that he was gone, that he couldn't hurt us anymore, that we were finally free. He's in custody, Nora. They're holding him without bail. He's looking at serious charges: stalking, harassment, fraud, identity theft, maybe more, depending on what they find. What about Jenna? What about Lily? Are they safe? Can they come home? We're working on it. We're coordinating with the authorities in Oregon, with Child Protective Services, with the courts. It's complicated, but we're making progress. Jenna is a victim, not a criminal, and we're going to do everything we can to help her rebuild her life. Jenna came to visit me a week later. She looked different, lighter, younger. The shadows under her eyes were fading. The worry lines around her mouth were softening. She was finally able to breathe, finally able to hope, finally able to imagine a future that wasn't defined by fear. I can't believe it's over. Nora, I can't believe he's gone. I can't believe we're free. It's not over, Jenna. Not yet. There's still the trial, still the legal proceedings, still the custody issues with Lily, but we're on the right path. We're moving forward. We're not running anymore. Lily wants to meet you. She's been asking about you, about her aunt, about the woman who helped save her mother. She's nervous, excited, scared, all at once. I want to meet her too, Jenna. I've been waiting for 12 years to meet my niece. I'm not going to wait a minute longer. We drove to Portland together, to the small house where Lily had been staying with Jenna's friend, a safe house, a temporary home, a place where she had been protected, hidden, loved. She was waiting for us on the porch, a small girl with dark hair and bright eyes and a smile that looked exactly like her mother's. Mommy, is this her? Is this Aunt Nora? Yes, baby, this is Aunt Nora, the one I told you about, the one who helped me, the one who never gave up looking for me. Hi, Aunt Nora, I'm Lily. I'm so happy to finally meet you. I knelt down, opened my arms, and she ran into them, hugging me tight, holding me close, and I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Joy, pure, uncomplicated, joyful joy, the kind that comes from connection, from family, from love. I'm so happy to meet you too, Lily. I've been waiting for this day for a very long time. The trial was scheduled for 6 months later. Daniel had hired a high-powered lawyer, the kind who defended criminals and made them look like victims, the kind who twisted the truth and manipulated the facts and played on the sympathies of the jury. But we had evidence, we had witnesses, we had the truth, and we were not going to let him win. Jenna testified first, her voice shaking, her hands trembling, but her words steady, clear, powerful. She told the jury about the stalking, the harassment, the fear, the years of running, the years of hiding, the years of being alone. He took everything from me: my home, my friends, my family, my sense of safety, my sense of self. He made me afraid to live, afraid to love, afraid to hope. And I'm done being afraid. I'm done running. I'm done hiding. I'm here to tell the truth. And the truth is that he is a monster, and he needs to be stopped. I testified next, my voice steady, my hands still, my heart calm. I told the jury about the jar, the photographs, the ultrasound. The moment I realized that my husband was a stranger, that my marriage was a lie, that my best friend had been running from him for 12 years. I loved him, I trusted him, I believed in him, and he used that love, that trust, that belief to manipulate me, to control me, to keep me close to him, to keep me from finding out the truth. But I found out, and now he has to face the consequences. Daniel's lawyer cross-examined me for hours, trying to poke holes in my story, trying to make me seem unstable, unreliable, untrustworthy, but I held my ground, told the truth, refused to be intimidated. Mrs. Cassidy, isn't it true that you've been diagnosed with anxiety, with depression, with paranoia? I've been diagnosed with anxiety and depression, yes, but not paranoia, and those diagnoses don't make me a liar, they make me human. Isn't it true that you've been seeing a therapist, that you've been on medication, that you've been struggling with your mental health for years? Yes, I've been seeing a therapist. Yes, I've been on medication. Yes, I've been struggling, but not because I'm crazy, because I was married to a man who was lying to me, manipulating me, controlling me, and that would make anyone struggle. The jury deliberated for 3 days, 3 days of waiting, of hoping, of praying, 3 days of not knowing if justice would prevail, if the truth would be enough, if the system would work. When the verdict was read, I was sitting in the front row, next to Jenna, next to Lily, my hands shaking, my heart pounding, my breath shallow. On the charge of stalking, we find the defendant, Daniel Cassidy, guilty. On the charge of harassment, we find the defendant, Daniel Cassidy, guilty. On the charge of fraud, we find the defendant, Daniel Cassidy, guilty. On the charge of identity theft, we find the defendant, Daniel Cassidy, guilty. Jenna gasped, Lily cheered, and I cried, tears of relief, tears of gratitude, tears of joy. It was over. Finally, after all these years, it was over. Daniel was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison, followed by 5 years of supervised release. He was ordered to have no contact with Jenna, with Lily, with me, and he was ordered to pay restitution to his victims for the therapy, for the moving costs, for the years of fear and suffering he had caused. This doesn't bring back the years we lost. Nora, this doesn't undo the damage. This doesn't make us whole. No, Jenna, it doesn't, but it's a start. It's accountability, it's justice, and it's proof that the truth matters, that we matter, that he can't just do whatever he wants and get away with it. We moved to Portland together, Jenna and Lily and I. We bought a small house, with a garden, a porch, a swing. We planted flowers, adopted a dog, cooked meals together, celebrated holidays together, built a life together. The life we should have had all along. Lily called me Aunt Nora, and I called her my niece, and Jenna called me her sister, and we were a family, not the family we had imagined, not the family we had planned, but a family nonetheless, a family built on love, on trust, on survival. Do you ever regret it, Nora? Do you ever regret marrying him? Do you ever regret the years you lost? I regret the lies. I regret the pain. I regret the time we spent apart. But I don't regret the person I've become. I don't regret the strength I've found. I don't regret the family we've built, and I don't regret that I found you, that I never gave up, that I kept searching, kept hoping, kept believing that one day we would be together again. I love you, Nora. I've always loved you, and I'm so sorry for the years I wasted, the years I ran, the years I hid. You don't have to be sorry, Jenna. You did what you had to do to survive, and I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you for being brave, for being strong, for never giving up, for coming back to me. Here's what I want you to know. If you're watching this and you see yourself in my story, the one who was betrayed, the one who was lied to, the one who was manipulated, the one who was controlled, hear me. You're not what they said you were. You're not crazy, not paranoid, not unstable. You're the one who survived, the one who kept going, the one who found a way to fight back, not because you were strong, but because you had to be. And survival is not pretty, it's not clean, it's not a movie where the credits roll and everyone lives happily ever after. Survival is messy, it's courtrooms and lawyers and sleepless nights, it's years of therapy and healing and learning to trust again. It's forgiving yourself for not being perfect, for not being strong enough, for not being fast enough, for not being enough. It's planting flowers in a garden and waiting for them to bloom. It's sitting on a porch and watching the stars and letting go of the weight you've been carrying your whole life. But survival is also yours. No one can take it from you. Not the man who lied to you, not the years you lost, not the pain you endured. You survived, and that is the only victory that matters.